there is a definite southern rock feel which is quickly smacked around the head by new wave, sticky floored CBGB's US rock. Sort of from the early 80s, late 70s. There, of course, will be a feeling of Debbie Harry and Blondie here because it's female fronted, this band. It's Spiders. They've been around since Spiders. They've been around since a bit of a DJ there. Been around since 2011. And this is an album called Sharp Objects. Now, when you call an album that, you want it to be a little bit serrated, don't you? This is. But it never makes you think, oh, I'm frightened. What it does do is bring you back to a lot of the early punk feel. Well, Sex Pistols feel really, which was really, I suppose, Glenn Matlock in large part for the music. And what they did and what he did was take rockabilly, soup it up, and create that punk sound, I suppose. He didn't really create it, did he? Because there were other bands doing it. But that sort of elasticated guitar sound is very much the Sex Pistols sound. And the Clash didn't have it, for instance. So it's very much that sound. You've got a lot of that here. There's quite a lot of 50s feel as well. So this first track, Rock and Roll Band, which is all about get your own rock and roll band. Don't hang around with mine. Now, that's also a bit of Punky ethos, isn't it? Here's one note, here's a second, here's a third. Now form a band. Remember that? That was the ethos. That was an ethos for punk, and that's an outlier because that southern feel. I thought this is a southern rock feel. I really like it. That doesn't come back. It really doesn't. In the main, you've got things like 50s, but punky. You know, remember what I said about that rockabilly thing? And what's your game? Open brackets, Miss Insane, close brackets, which isn't always a thrill ride, to be honest. It's not a bore either, but I've heard it before, even though it's not a bore. It is sharp, though. Rockabilly never really... I suppose at the time it was something that made people think, I'm going to slash some cinema seats. But not that I'm denigrating that. It was a real, not a movement, but... an anger at the time, but you don't feel that danger here. I prefer Fun in the Sun, which has an open chorus, and although we've got some rockabilly in Mess With My Emotions, you have a little bit more melody in the chorus, and I prefer a little bit of that. You are going to get a bit of sassy new wave. Love Yourself to Death, final track, has a bit of that, but there's not enough new wave in my view. I don't quite know what this band want to be. If they want to do that Sex Pistols rockabilly with a little bit more, all of that, then if they want to do that, that's great. But they don't do that. If they want to do new wave, that's great. But they don't quite do that either. Don't think they've really settled on what their sound is. They're not punky either, to be honest, or rocky enough. But I'm aware, and they've been at it for a while, so maybe they've settled into, well, we don't quite know what we're going to do, but or what we are, but this is it. And it's very well done, in that it does. It's reminiscent of a sticky floor. It's reminiscent of cheap fags and booze. It's reminiscent of a bit of sleaze and a bit of sass. And who doesn't want a bit of that? I like the new wave and gob iron feel of Life Mission, because it's punky, but it's also groovy. And I love that one-note piano that's added later on. It doesn't do anything apart from make you think, oh, it's a one-note piano, I like that. We could have done a bit more of that. Not that I'm denigrating this album, because I really enjoyed it while it was on. It's not going to stay in your mind very much. I've forgotten it already. But that's not the point. The point is that disposable music like this really, really works for a quick hit. And this definitely does. Less a sugar rush, more of a snake bite. Or a spider bite. Ta-ta.